Here's the last video for 1.2, building more checkerboard borders. How to use slope and a y-intercept to graph a line. This is a reminder of what your page should look like for taking notes from the video. And this is the third video of this section, so you should have already notes completed for the other two videos before this one. How do you use slope and a y-intercept to graph a line? In this video, you're going to complete one example to answer this question. How do we use a slope and a y-intercept to graph a certain line? Graph the line given the slope and y-intercept. Here we have our slope, which is equal to -2 all over 5. And we have our y-intercept, which is equal to 4. I list the steps for you on the left-hand side. And the graph is going to be on the right-hand side. Step 1, the y-intercept is 4. So the line is going to contain the point 0, 4. And we're going to need to plot 0, 4 on the graph. Now we're doing this for step 1 because it just tells you the y-intercept is 4. And you need to recognize that it's the point 0, 4. And we're going to graph that on our y-axis. So I'm going to enlarge the graph and plot our point 0, 4. Just right here on the y-axis, which is why it's the y-intercept. Okay. Step 2, m equals, well, what is m? Well, if you remember from previous examples, m is the slope. In our case, our slope is -2 over 5. Since that is our slope, we are going to count 2 units down. Why are we going 2 units down? 2 units down, and we're going to go 5 units to the right. Why are we going to the right and not to the left? And why are we going down instead of up? Think about that for a minute and look back in your notes on slope if you don't know the answer to that question. We're going to count down 2 units and 5 units to the right from point 0, 4, and we're going to plot a second point. So let's go ahead and enlarge our graph again. Okay, remember we're going to go down 2 and over 5. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here is our second point. However, when graphing a line, it's always nice and best to have 3 points. And I've explained that in class. So we can actually go up to 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which still gives us a negative slope. And there is our third point. I'm going to take this back down to size so that you can notice that step 3 says draw a line through the 2 points, but for us we have 3. And I'm going to use this new shape tool. So let's give this a try out to get a straight line. Okay, there we go. And there is our line. And we can draw some arrows at each end. Okay, and there you go. The last thing I want to discuss is how to take a slope and how to take a y-intercept and create an equation. There's an equation that, oh, ignore that, that was my phone going off. There's an equation that you should be very familiar with, and it's called slope intercept form. And we'll discuss this more in class, but slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. And that's where the name comes from, slope intercept form. It contains a slope and an intercept. Since we're given a slope of -2/5 and a y-intercept of 4, we can write this as an equation. And so we're going to practice plotting the slope and the y-intercept to create a line, but we're also going to practice creating an equation using slope and y-intercept. So we're going to I'll underline what you keep the same. The y stays the same and the x is always in the equation. What changes the slope and y-intercept and that depends on what is given to us. So we're going to go ahead and write our equation now. It is y. Remember, that stays the same. Slope is -2 over 5, so we're going to write 2 over 5, and we put our x. So now that represents slope, and our y-intercept is 4, and it's a positive 4, so we're going to just add 4 to this equation, and we're done. Really quick and easy. So we'll practice both concepts. And I forgot my arrows at the end of my line, because it goes on and on forever and ever. Okay, make sure you rewatch the videos if you had some trouble, and bring all your questions to class so I can answer them for you. We can answer them as a group.